How you doing, everybody? My name is Octavius LaVon Blount. I'm the coordinator for the Mayor's Office of Black Male Engagement. I'm here for another Spotlight Series, and we're doing the Spotlight Series with Women's History Month, just so we can show our support to our women, our black women specifically. We have a special guest here from Lincoln University. She'll talk a little bit about what she does, who she is, and also what advice she can give young black women to navigate this world that we live in today. So Dr. Brenda Allen, how are you doing today?
I'm good. And thank you for the invitation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you can tell me, I know you're the president of Lincoln University. If you take that hat off, what will people say, you know, the type of person that you are?
Oh, man, if I take my president's hat off,
Yeah.
I think who I am guides who I am as a president.
Okay.
I think people would say that I'm a very caring person. As president, my primary concern is that my students are successful and that they have a great educational experience. And I think part of that just comes from who I am fundamentally. Just really want to make sure that I know that the most positive thing in order to help people to move their lives along is education. It's the greatest equalizing factor that we have, and making sure that students have access to the best and highest level education possible is what I'm really concerned about. And in doing that, you know, as a college student, you want to also make sure that that experience grows them in every way. And so caring about my students and caring about their experiences inside and outside of the classroom has been a major mission for me. And I just think that comes from who I am fundamentally in the core.
Okay. Now, I know you said you're a caring person. You care about your students.
Yes.
I know you went to Lincoln, as you said. If you don't mind me asking, what did you major in?
I was a psychology major.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it fits with that whole human service thing.
Oh, yeah. And also caring about people, knowing how they feel, and also understanding how they feel as well. If you don't mind me asking, with the trajectory that you made from being a student at Lincoln to the president, how do you think that built up your confidence into the person that you are today?
Well, so I'm first generation college. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, just up the road a little bit north. Came to Lincoln out of middle of the inner city, so you know where Lincoln is. Very different experience.
Totally
and,
different.
You know, you show up there 18 years old and you wonder, wow, you know, will I ever be able to thrive at a place like this? And I always say to people, I could have never imagined that 4 years on that campus out in rural southern Chester County, I would really emerge a totally different person. Lincoln taught me to really love to learn, to pursue knowledge. It helped instill in me the understanding that I had strengths and abilities that I would have never given myself credit for. And so through that nurturing, folk pushed me on into graduate school, and in graduate school pushed me on into a postdoc, and postdoc pushed me on to start my academic career. And so I credit everything that I've been able to accomplish, and to be able to come back full circle to the place where it all started is that Lincoln was the place where it all started.
Okay. Now, is this trajectory of women in power that we've seen all throughout the news, how do you think that ignites the work that you do, and also ignites the young women that you have here today as well?
Well, you know, I had the fortunate opportunity to teach for 15 years at a women's college.
Okay.
I taught at Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts. It's one of the 7 sister institutions. And it was really at Smith that I really began to understand that I was a woman, right? So, you know, when you're coming through in our communities, you know, we're putting forward whoever seems to have the potential. That's who our families invest in. So I'm the girl in the house that got good grades, and so I went on. I don't have any brothers, so I don't even know what my family would have did if they had to choose between the genders. But nonetheless, never thought about being a woman to that extent. But spending 15 years on a college campus dedicated to women's education, you become really acutely aware of differences, sometimes in style. You also become aware of the fact that things that I probably experienced prior to getting there had a lot to do with sexism. I was well aware of things that related to racism, but had not been tuned into sexism. And so in that women's college environment, I came to understand not only some of the challenges that women face in leadership especially, but I also began to understand some of the unique strengths that women can bring into the leadership environment. and then having mentors who were also black women, I came to understand the power of the intersection between race and gender and our ability to move some things forward if we only understood what those challenges were and were tapped into what our unique strengths are. So I credit that experience with really propelling me forward to really embed in my identity the aspect that I am a woman. I understood I was black, but I had not understood how being a woman intersected with that. So the 15 years I spent there helped to create that identity for me.
Okay. And with the identity that you have now as the president, how do you think your representation at Lincoln University and the young women that are on that campus, how do you think they look at you? Do they look at you as a role model, mentor, a mom, or anything like that?
Well, it's my hope that my students look at me as all of those things.
Okay.
So at some points, I have to be a leader. Regardless of gender or race, I have to make hard decisions. Yeah. And I want them to understand that those decisions are decisions I come to that are thought through, that are based upon inclusive perspectives. So one of the things that's important for me as a leader is that I seek all opinions, but I let people know in the end I have to make the decisions. I also want them to understand the importance of doing research. So I'm a scholar by nature. That's what my academic career has been. So I try to make sure I read everything, that I look at data, and involve people's opinions. And in the end, when I make a decision, I want folk to understand why it is I may decide something that's different from what they think. And it's not about simply how I feel, but it's informed. It is a very evidence-based sort of a decision. And I think that's important for young women to understand. All too often, people try to sort of relegate women's opinions to something that is only related to feelings, as if affect is something that's negative. It's important to feel. But I need young women to understand that if you're going to lead, you have to lead not only with your affect, but with your reason and your critical thinking. But there are times when, you need a mama, an auntie. So lots of my students call me Auntie President, Mama President. And that's important to me too, because that makes me understand that they do see that underneath all of this and all the status that you get with a title, that you are essentially just a person, a human being who cares about them as if they were a part of my family. And that's important for me, because I don't think you can help students if they don't feel as if they can come and talk to you, if you're not approachable, if they don't get a sense that you can connect to them at the very human level. And so when they affectionately call me things like that, it makes me feel really good, because they are able to sort of straddle that line between this is our leader, but she's also someone who really cares a lot about me. And I think that helps, will help in times where decisions have to be hard. It may not be what people want, but they'll understand that it's done with the kind of thoughtfulness that it needed to have, and that it was always done with their ultimate success in mind. So I love to bridge those two parts of me.
Okay. I like the thought of saying my identity, they can call me whatever they want, because I'm a human being first. And I'm glad that you said that. One, because when people do get a sense of status, they may change, or they may act different, they may look different. So with this status, with the title, you being a human being in general, how do you think you support black men at your school? Meaning, there's going to be a lot of black men that come through Lincoln. As the president, how do you think you best support them?
So again, I know that students and people by gender, sometimes by race, really need different things from different people. And so my male students are just as important to me as my female students. But I understand the challenges for our males are different than our females. And sometimes those challenges are how our males and our females interact with one another. And so, the things that I want to do to promote young women and their success and their development can be really about them being young women, being young women, especially women of color. But I have an special passion for trying to ensure that minority males persist. I'm a black woman. I don't have kids, but 30 years in higher ed, I have thousands of kids by now. I have watched young men with great potential not make it through the educational environment. And a big piece of that is that often in education, especially in higher education, people feel as if they have to lose so much of their identity in order to persist. And so wrapping our arms around young men and sort of helping them to navigate that. But I think it's also important to help young men especially understand that there are pieces of you that come from where you are that you should not give up. That those are the things that actually make you unique in who you are. So really being in your own authenticity and how that authentic you actually adds something to the diversity that we're looking for in the workforce, in the military, in higher ed. All too often, I think a lot of people of color from a lot of different backgrounds tend not to persist, especially in education, because so much of it has told us that, you know, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you dress has no place in this space. And what we need to do is try to change that space. And so one way we do that is by instilling in individuals that you bring something significant to the table. And I think that's a greater challenge today for minority males than it is for females, because so much of the negative stereotypes about people of color is about black males. People fear them because of the way they dress or the way they look. And the only way you change that is not by conforming to one person's identity, one person or one group's thought about what appropriate is, but by helping them to understand how to broaden their repertoire and move themselves in so that that the normal becomes a new normal. That, you know, you can be brown skin and work on Wall Street, that you can have locks and be able to have a corporate job, that you can master both inner city language and higher ed language, and you might have to use that inner city language in a higher ed context to get your point across, but that's what is authentically, uniquely you. And we need to have people understand bringing that is so important to changing the discourse, especially in higher education. And the only way we can do that is by bringing them in and wrapping some services around them and really helping them to get in touch with the things that they bring that are unique and special, and help them to broaden the things that we can offer them so that we create these new unique individuals who are not cookie cutters of anyone else. So, you know, that's important for all my students, but I think that's especially important for minority males, because so much of the negativity that's out there about who they are, they have to merge that with the sense of who they are. And we can help them to do that by making sure that they gain the confidence in who they are, at the same time broadening the skills that they come with.
Okay. Now I'm going to take out one thing that I think is, you know, a piece of advice, and I'm going to ask you to, you know, provide at least one more. You said be your authentic self. The last question is, you know, just give a piece of advice to some young black women that may be watching this, and also some piece of advice for young black men. So I know you said be your authentic self and bring that to the table.
Bring that to the table.
So what's one thing that you would add to that?
I think for young women that they cannot be afraid to push forward and be the person that they want to become. So often for females, you know, the stereotype is they have to acquiesce to somebody else's identity of them. And often that means that you have to somehow put yourself second and allow men in front. We have so much evidence that women are great leaders as women, and what they bring. And looking for that confidence and understanding that you can stand tall and toe-to-toe with anyone is really very important. And it's just really about how you walk in the world. You know, if you embrace that confidence, then it shows. And I think then your possibilities are unlimited. And I think for young men, it's almost, young minority males, it's almost the same thing. I believe that people of color persevere in this society, not in spite of where we come from, but because of where we come from. I grew up in an inner city. I think that there are lots of important and strong values and strengths there. And the fact that we can actually survive some of the crazy stuff that happens there is because we do have these like cultural sort of underpinnings, our ability to really be communal. We care about community, we care about each other. The way in which spirituality operates in our life. There are so many strengths in our community that so many places does not acknowledge. And I think for young men, you have to really understand what the base culture of our communities are, what that culture has given us, that has allowed us to persevere, and that it really is about the positive things in our community that really have created the ability for us to get through some of the things that are who we are because we are minority or we're poor or all the other kind of things that society sort of throws on us. And if they get to understand that there's strength there, I think you stand stronger in who you are because you start to pull on those things in order for you to actually get through the next hurdle. And often moving out of that context into a different kind of context to expand who you are is nothing more than a hurdle. And if you can't use what you have to propel you forward, then you don't have the foundation you need to persevere. And so I say embrace yourself, embrace your community, and look for the things that you know have helped you to move forward and use those to continue to move yourself forward.
Okay. I like the advice that you gave. I'll take that because I haven't heard it like that. I haven't heard it that way. So I want to thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
And put me on your schedule because I know you're very busy. I know you're doing a lot of work, a lot of great work at Lincoln and in the city. So I do thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay.
If you want to check us out our next Spotlight series, we're on Facebook and Instagram at OBMEPHL, and we're also on YouTube. Check us out at the next Spotlight series.